And with that, introduce Marty Padden, who brings a lot of professional and personal experience about marketing and reaching customers, particularly in the Anne Arundel County area, and has been a great friend and supporter of the chamber. So with that, let me turn it over to Marty.
Yeah,
Take us away.
yeah. Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate that. And good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be presenting this to you today. I'm hoping it's helpful. And as Mark mentioned, I do have a lot of experience. I've been with the Baltimore Sun slash Capital Gazette now for about 25 years or so. And I've seen a lot of changes in the industry and in marketing and in how people and businesses market themselves, and it continues to change and evolve on a daily basis. So probably by the time we get through this presentation, there'll be a lot of things that are outdated. That's how quick it changes. But with that said, if we can keep this conversational, I would be more than happy to take questions during if you want to stop, and there will be time at the end for questions and answers as well. So, with that said, today I do want to talk a little bit about smart advertising strategies for small businesses. So, this is going to be a two-pronged presentation. It's going to talk a little bit about industry trends, cost-efficient ways for small businesses to market themselves, and then a little bit about how the Baltimore Sun and Capital Gazette can help you. So, it's not just solely about the Baltimore Sun Media Group. So as I mentioned, so today we're going to talk a little bit about current marketing and current media and marketing trends, low cost, high impact advertising tactics, proven advertising strategies for small businesses, and tools and platforms that deliver measurable results. So I'm going to start with the customer journey. This is really the most thing that really separates the kind of new wave advertising from old traditional type of advertising, because really, as this is what marketers are really struggling with on a daily basis, is really how do you get in front of your customer? And the market and advertising is so fragmented, as everybody knows. It's very competitive. And then you have what I consider to be the biggest competitor and to anybody's business, and that's time, how people spend their time. So really having a comprehensive marketing strategy that catches people, in their daily activities, as well as when they're ready to make a purchasing decision is crucial. And we're going to talk about some ways to do that. So here's a couple of, I'm going to go through several different trends that are taking place now, and these are really different just from traditional media. So this doesn't necessarily say that traditional type media still aren't effective, because they are, but these are things that people have incorporated into their marketing strategy, and most of them I'm sure you're going to know. But social media, or the rise of utilizing video in various platforms such as social media. Um, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are all very important to anyone's marketing strategy. But telling your story now, it can be done very effectively, cost effectively, and effectively through the use of video. And that's only going to become much more dominant and important. People love to watch stories. I'm sure you've seen the reels on these social media platforms, and being able to tell your story in a 15 to 30-second time frame is crucial. Second, and especially for a small and local type of advertiser, is geo-targeting. You can geo-target through many, many different forms. I'm not going to go into get very granular this. I will, if you wanted to reach me afterwards to really talk about some of these strategies in more detail, I'd be more than happy to do that. Community-driven messaging. Again, a small business connecting to their local community is extremely viable and important to the success of your business. And then interacting with text, email, and on social platforms. Again, just reiterate that your message and how you want to communicate to your customers. Businesses promoting their values. Again, very crucial to success, and really being able to align with the community, align with various events. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few slides. being transparent, really promoting your mission, what your business is about, what you stand for. These are all ways to gain customer loyalty and customer support. And purpose-led messaging, again, it just builds loyalty. And we'll talk about some tactics of how to do that as well. So some of the strategies to do that, some easy things, if you haven't done so, is claim and optimize your business profile on Google. I have a link to the website to do that. It's very easy. If your business isn't on there, there's a button that you can push to add it on there, but it really does give you an organic, way to get your message out there and get into Google search. And then obviously, SEM, search engine marketing, to me is the basis of any, small business. You really need to have an effective and impactful search strategy and utilizing keywords. And Google does have a keyword planner. If you're not aware of that you can go in and kind of search what are valuable keywords to your business. But to me, that's where every other aspect of your marketing really comes down to when people are ready to make that decision and they go to Google and they search for businesses in the area, you want to be top of mind. Any questions on that? Again, using search engine as a basis, then creating a multi-channel or omni-channel strategy around that. Using this is where traditional media comes in, whether that be print, web, or in-store advertising, to really create that cohesive messages that creates branding, trust, and recognition. And then, of course, mixing traditional and digital channels, I think still is a very effective and impactful way to get your message across and get people to respond and become customers to your products or services. Incentivize happy customers to share your message. That's the other thing. Word of mouth still, I've been in this business for, as I mentioned, 20 some years. And every time I go into a business, I still hear that word of mouth is the number one way to get people, my customers' growth, and customer acquisition is coming through word of mouth. So really incentivizing and making your current customers and your loyal customers advocates is really one of the crucial goals. If you feature testimonials in your advertising, in your store, and things of that nature, that's also very helpful. And then to collaborate with other businesses. I mean, really through the chamber. I mean, you guys are already doing that. So it's great to continue to network and get your name out there in an organic way is just a very efficient, cost-efficient, effective way to continue to gain and acquire loyal customers. Branding with local media partners. So using the Baltimore Sun and Capital, especially the Capital Gazette, if you haven't done so, I would encourage you to send press releases to the Capital. I will give you our editor, Kamal High's contact information. That is, press releases and giving the community what you're doing from a community standpoint can be very impactful. The thing about press releases to remember is they cannot be advertising. So a press release is basically a business related. If you have an event that's in the community, if you're tying into a charity, if you're having a significant anniversary, they're all things that we publish on a regular basis. And I encourage you to get to know Kamal. And it's a great way to position your business. Oh, the second thing is position yourself as a local expert, a subject matter expert on your business is, again, very impactful. You can do that through press releases. You can do that through branded content. We have a studio and an agency that I'll talk about that does branded content. We create contests, editorial articles, listicles. There's just a multiple of ways to utilize branded content effectively. And obviously that all is the purpose is to boost your awareness to the community. Second tactic is email marketing. So I'm sure if you're not, you need to be on utilizing your customer and developing a customer list. You can send it out on a very cost-effective way through constant contact, MailChimp, Brivo, or just some of the many ways to do it. You can have organic lists, but sending promotions and updates to those to your loyal customers that are on that customer list is just crucial, and doing it on a continual basis, and then retargeting that message on your website with visitors as they come in, and then of course utilizing social media. Hosting or sponsoring a local event, getting involved in affiliate marketing. If there's any type of, I mean, Anne Arundel County has a ton of festivals. If there's ways to tie into that, ways to tie into local charities, they're all, again, organic ways to get your name out there, to get tied into the community, to build value and trust to your business. It obviously will bring foot traffic into your business. And again, it's another way to get local press through the Capital and other local media outlets. If you're involved in a charity and they're covering that charity or festival, then there's a high propensity that you could get included into that media coverage. These are just somewhat, I'm hoping, obvious, but these are platforms with proven track records and results. Obviously, we mentioned search, local print and digital media outlets. They have very credible alignments, which we'll talk about the Baltimore Sun and branding, co-branding with the Baltimore Sun and what that can do for your business. Email platforms, I mentioned MailChimp and Constant Contact, but there's other third-party vendors that you can utilize to expand upon that footprint and go beyond your customer list to gain new customers, and they're great customer acquisition tools. So that's kind of taking a look at the trends, some strategies and tactics that you can use on your own. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the Baltimore Sun, the Capital Gazette, and our capabilities. So what we can do for you as a media company is basically to, in a nutshell, we can get you in front of any audience at any time, anywhere. So if you want to reach Anne Arundel County, we can utilize our paid subscriber base, both print and digital, which is a very quality audience. I mean, people are paying to get in to utilize our products. They're very engaged with the product. It's again, it's kind of tying into all of the tactics and things that I just mentioned about tying in the community. You can do that through utilizing our products. We're very community oriented. We're well known in the community, and putting your message into one of our products is a great way to align yourself and co-brand with the Capital or Baltimore Sun. And you can do that through many, many different tactics. So it also creates a multi-channel provider right within one vendor, utilizing our print, our digital platforms, branded content. We can even create events for you. And we have various what I call extended reach products. So we could actually purchase your emails. We use third-party emails, or we also have a way that you can get in front of our subscribers through your own email message. We can buy programmatic advertising for you. We can buy your social media. We can buy your SEM and manage your SEM for you. And we utilize an agency. We have an agency that we partner with. We own them, and they're a national agency. So I always say buying programmatic social SEM through the Baltimore Sun is like utilizing a national agency on a local level and with local rates as well. So I mentioned search again. We have the capability to buy your search and manage your search, and that's very important. There's a lot of agencies out there. There's a lot of people that will manage your search, but it really takes, it's very labor intensive, and to really optimize it and continue to optimize your search campaign is just an ongoing process that doesn't end. And we would put together a multifaceted search campaign that includes a branded element, a competitor element, and a non-branded element. So you really are out there getting in front of as many people when they make their search and putting keywords for your businesses, you will be noticed. or have a higher likelihood based on the way we optimize the counts. And it
Hey,
does.
hey, Marty, real quick, we had a question in the chat there
Mhm.
from Donna. Is there a difference in the Capital Digital Media and City Spark?
Um, are you referring to what we offer or just in general?
We think Donna.
Ju- sometimes just having trouble. I thought I had an account with both, and I have trouble sometimes getting in and using my password. I'm not sure if one of them is now defunct or whatever. So,
Yeah, okay. So I understand your question. So yes, there is a difference. We're not affiliated with City Spark. So the Capital Gazette is completely separate entity. I wasn't sure if you were referring to how we buy like search
no,
or
no, no. No, it was a problem with getting into one of their other. So I think it's City Spark that I have the problem with. So,
okay.
okay. Thank you
Well, if
so
you
much.
have a problem getting into the Capital of Baltimore Sun site, please let me know. I'll be happy to help you out.
Thank you very much.
Another great way to utilize the Baltimore Sun Capital Gazette is if you do advertise with us is to dominate the media that you're using. We have several ways to do that, and that's what I recommend most of our clients to do. So one is called a lighthouse ad. A lighthouse ad is a rich media ad format. You can put videos in there. I mentioned how video is a great way to tell your story and becoming much more popular. So if you're not utilizing video, if there's one takeaway from that, I would start getting videos and utilizing video to tell your story and to promote your businesses. Um, the Lighthouse ad, it's an 800 by 600. It's a disruptive ad. You can buy it impression based throughout the Baltimore Sun and Capital Gazette in Anne Arundel County. You can target it. It's also served on our mobile platform. Um, and it's just a great, really high impact ad. You can also buy it on a homepage takeover. So you can buy it per day. So you would get 100% share of voice. One of our most impactful advertising position from a digital standpoint, and it's very cost effective. The next is our digital or e-edition. If you haven't seen our e-edition, we do have it replicates the print product. So on the cap, we have an e-edition for the Capitol and we have an e-edition for the Baltimore Sun. They're published daily. There's many ad positions. If you buy a print ad, your ad is automatically shown on the e-edition, but you can buy impressions and throughout the run a site on the e-edition, or you can buy it for the day. This is an example of what it looks like. You have every single ad position that is on the edition. You can see the ad that's to the left of the front page of the paper is a very large, impactful ad. We call it page zero. You can really showcase your business. If you're having an event, it's a great way to promote an event. Then you have the side left and right side rails, and you have a leaderboard position. And it's served the page zero, that large ad unit that's next to the front page. That's not served on every page, but your other ads are served on every page. Again, gets great engagement, um, and it's very cost effective as well. Then from a print standpoint, we have several high impact or premium positions. One of the most popular is our front page strips, as you're seeing here. The other thing I wanted to mention is in today's changing media environment, we've discovered that frequency and reach is always the way to buy traditional media, but it's even more important now. So we've created very, very aggressive pricing strategies that you can buy and almost have a presence in our paper every single day of the month. So again, it's a great way to build frequency. It's very cost effective. And again, I would recommend talking to you or following up with me, and I'd be more than happy to kind of talk through some of the pricing based on your budgetary needs, so on and so forth. Excuse me. Pre-roll video. We offer pre-roll video on all of our products, the Baltimore Sun and the Capitol. It's embedded into our editorial. It serves in front of editorial ads. It's non-skippable. I recommend 15-second video. It's again, a great way to tell your story, and the fact that it's in our editorial really adds value to it, and it's a great way to co-brand with the Baltimore Sun. And as it says here, we have an average of a 90% completion rate. I also mentioned we offer programmatic. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but how I always recommend people buying the Baltimore Sun or the Capital is to really use our paid advertising as a broad reach, and then get more granular if you want to get specific targeting into various behaviorals of groups that you're trying to reach or various geographical region. Complementing your Baltimore Sun buy with a programmatic buy is a great way to do that. It gets great engagement and it really boosts your response. And then I mentioned branded content earlier. We do have an agency that we work with, and we also own them. So they can create all kinds of different various creative promotions for you. Is again, as I mentioned earlier, it's a great way to really promote yourself as a subject matter expert on your business or service that you offer to the community. It's a great way to brand with the Capital or the Baltimore Sun. We offer, we can write articles for you. We can create contests for you, sweepstakes, list of goals, and other type of ways to tell your story. You can utilize video in these ads as well. We also have a social element that goes with it. We call it a Facebook handshake. Again, it's pushed out with the Capital Gazette brand or Baltimore Sun. So you're co-branding with the Baltimore Sun. You can also utilize video in that. And then finally, we boost it with native ads that are also embedded into the editorial content of our website. So again, it's basically a three-way strategy that really gives you a comprehensive campaign that gets incredible engagement. I assure you that. Again, great for events, great to create the ability to communicate one-on-one with the community and really promote yourself as that subject matter expert. Also mentioned email marketing. We do work with a third-party vendor, so we can, we can complement, and we can take if you have a list, your own customer list, we can look for lookalikes with that list. We can dedupe it so you're not duplicating that if we send an email in addition to that particular list. It's a great customer acquisition tool, a great way to promote your business. Email, people say it's cluttered, but I still think it's very effective, and we get great response. Also, another great way to promote a specific event or sale that you may be having. Just quickly, we do offer CTV. We can buy CTV for you through our digital agency. We do buy premium streaming services. We also can buy your social media as well. And then finally is the data collection. So we do collect and provide all of our clients that are buying us digitally with reports, analytics, kind of reviewing, comparing it with Google Analytics as well as our own data base. It really is in depth. It gives you a great look at how your campaign is working. We also have experts that really help you decipher that, because sometimes the numbers aren't always as revealing as they may seem. There could be some hidden things that we can see to optimize a campaign accordingly, and utilizing it not just from a customer acquisition tool, but really see how people are interacting with the pages within your websites and things of that nature. So kind of the final thoughts is all these tactics and all these strategies are a great way to focus your business on the community, being consistent and being creative. Small budgets can still build, if you're doing it correctly, big results utilizing both earned and paid media, and then using data to double down on what works and really being able to optimize your campaign accordingly, so you're getting the most effective by spending your money effectively and getting the most ROI, the highest ROI possible. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to if there's any specific questions or comments.
Yeah, let's get some dialogue on. Who's got a question? Looks like Donna, you got lit up there. You have a
Yeah,
question?
would you mind flashing back to the email marketing
Oh,
screen
sure.
again if it's possible?
Mhm.
And is there a way to get these handouts?
Yes, I can send this to you. I'll send it to Mark and he can send it to you
Thank you.
or Amy or
Thank you.
did you have a specific question on the emails?
No, we're a barbershop chorus and we're, very, very small budget. And we're
Hmm.
just starting to do a newsletter to our quote unquote friends of the blend. Just wondering, what kind of format to do, whether we want to go with an outside like Constant Contact or whatever, or do it within our own website's newsletter format, which sometimes doesn't always work out well. So we're at that junction right now where we're deciding what we want to do and keep our name in front of the people who have signed up to hear, what they want to hear from us. So
Yeah.
community awareness
No,
is where it's at.
yeah. Are you have you sent press releases to the Capitol by any chance?
I have not sent press releases, but I have tried. And we've been in their digital section like events calendar and
Yeah.
whatever. As many contacts as I can make throughout the community, just trying to get stuff into whatever digital media we can.
Yeah, and thank you. That's a really great another piece of advice. We do have an events calendar that you can post your events at no charge on the Capital Gazette. So
Okay, that's what I've been trying to do. I
you
keep
can,
getting,
if you want to contact me afterwards, I'll be more than happy to help you with that as well.
okay. Do you have your information somewhere, contact information?
Yeah, it's on this presentation I will send out to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mhm. Anybody else?
Somebody's got to have some marketing. Let me ask the group, is anybody doing or having some success with email marketing while we're on that subject? Who's using email marketing?
I'm kind of doing it myself, but define success. I get a lot of opens. I don't get a lot of replies at this point.
Right. Okay.
So what type of what are you sending out to your customer list? What type of
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff just to kind of develop our brand and give an idea of like what we do because people don't really know what ICSI does or what it stands for because it's not inherently understood in the acronym of it. Um, so it's a lot of just letting them know like how we help businesses around the area. Try not to do anything salesy, just trying to give them an understanding of like what exactly they can get out of a managed service provider, and if they it's targeted for like if I know that they have compliance things that they have to do or whatever it is. But so at this point, because I'm not getting any replies ever, I look at it as more of a marketing initiative just to continue to build the brand and get our logo and get our concept of business out to people.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure it's doing that for you. I mean, if you're just doing branding type of ads, converting those immediately is very hard to do. So that is more of a long-term strategy.
Yeah, it's very long term. Like on this, I just sent one out yesterday to I think it was 150 people. I probably have it looks like about 80 opens. So like they're getting it, they're opening it, they're checking it out. But it's I mean, I think that that's pretty good. That's a pretty high open rate, but it's not, you know, getting any sustained business. But so that's kind of
Hmm.
why I'm looking at it as a marketing initiative more than a sales one at times.
Hmm. Are you doing search?
No, I'm just doing it through we're using Begin for our CRM. So I'm
Mhm.
just using it through that and just tracking how many opens I get and which opens for which industries are doing better and breaking it into kind of a more targeted approach and tailoring each message to each separate entity that I'm reaching out to. So
Yeah, I would keep it up.
yeah, thanks. Hopefully it works one day.
Yeah, it's like that, Marty said, it's that frequency thing, and it
Yeah.
does become part of branding too. So,
Yeah, I mean, you might want to mix up some of your messaging with call to actions with specific offers that you may have. I don't know that much about your business or what really makes people want to respond immediately, but
Getting
um,
hacked, that makes them respond immediately.
hey, Marty, when we hear that phrase omni-channel a lot, it gets kind of vague to people. Could you explain that a little bit and what
yeah.
would be a good mix if somebody was doing an omni-channel marketing initiative?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Mark. So yeah, omnichannel is nothing more than doing a media mix. That's probably a better way to everyone can visualize that easy. It's just doing multiple um, tactics and utilizing multiple platforms to get your message out there. And it kind of goes full circle to the customer journey and how people are spending their time. And time is so, scarce for people these days. So you want to be on various platforms at various times of the day. So if someone's working out of the gym, for example, you want, I mean, being on a radio, and I'm just using these that doesn't necessarily mean they're accurate, but just to make the point, people are watching TV in the morning at their gym or listening to their streaming services and their um in the headphones or whatever radio, if there's a streaming service or radio station playing, I mean, people are hearing that message. So getting in front of them during that point of the time, or how they're spending their day going to work or driving to work or commuting, however they commute, mass transit. Then how they spend their middle of the day trying to be in front of them if they're reading a paper or going online to various sites, getting their email in their inbox, evening news at night. I mean, just giving those as examples of how you can kind of reach someone throughout the course of the day. So when they're ready to make a purchasing decision, you're top of mind and in front of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that when you hear that omni-channel, it just sounds like, ooh, very, very
Right.
technical, but it's pretty basic as you need to be
It's
multiple
very
media mix,
basic.
just like you said.
Yep.
Is omni-channel what I would have considered many years ago known as the shotgun approach?
No,
Uh,
it would
Something
be more
different?
strategic than that. It's
Okay, so it
again,
is more
it's
targeted then.
yes.
Okay.
It would, yeah, it's just really being consistently in front of the marketplace or the customers, or getting in front of as many of your targeted customers as possible throughout the course of days and weeks ahead. So you're there when they're ready to make the decision.
Terry, you look like you might have a comment or question.
Do. So just to let you know who we are, we're a commercial general contractor.
Mhm.
What does this look like to start up an advertising campaign with you? Like how do we know? Because I don't do residential construction. I only do commercial, tenant fit out, restaurants, industrial medical spaces, things like that. So how does one start the conversation with you as to what would be the best approach and how to target
Mhm.
the correct audience?
Yeah, great question. So the approach would be to really, I would want to know who your audience is. I mean, who is your customer? Who are the decision makers that you want to get in front of? And then really talk about the tactics that can get them in front at the budget that's you're comfortable with. So the audience and where they reside are really is the starting point.
Okay.
And when someone does a digital ad in the Capitol, what is it? And I don't know, this might be a hard question. What's the average length of how long do they do it?
Well, it depends on the campaign, but and it depends on the strategy. But um, it, I mean, most people are doing it on annual basis. Um, it doesn't mean they're and it revolves around types of events that they may have. So, um, and it also revolves around what other tactics they're doing with us. So if they're doing a print ad with us, they may complement that with a digital buy on top of it. But most flights are month long. So if you look at it that way, a month to 3 months, if you want to, look at it from an average standpoint.
Because I'm looking at that frequency issue, and so that just gives some guidance on how long somebody might want to maintain
Yeah.
their ad.
And it also depends on the business too. I mean, if you're in a retail business, you're definitely an annual. You want to be in front of your customers on a, annual basis. Healthcare is annual. A lot of real estate is annual. Well, no, real estate is more seasonal, spring and fall, and if they have a specific open house or event.
So, okay. Who else has a question or comment for Marty?
I guess what does a typical budget look like? I guess it's going to depend on size or whatever, but what would be the starting point for budget?
That's a tough question. I would have to know, again, it's going to depend on the business or who you're trying to reach, the frequency and things of that nature. But I would say and just looking at it from a small business, I guess like starting there from a small business standpoint, I would say like $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're advertising every month. It could be you may only have a 3-month flight, but that could be a very effective budget. And
Okay,
there's people that spend less than that, but I would just give you the average.
understood.
So let me, nobody maybe has to answer this, but just throwing this out there for something for you all to think about. How many of you actually have, when you start the year, a marketing budget? Not just marketing activity, but money that you're going to look to spend on marketing. And the reason I ask is because you've got to kind of give to get a little bit. So if you spend a little bit of money, you budget it and use it, it becomes, where do you want to put that money in terms of trying to get, it could be boosting Facebook or some paid things on LinkedIn. So there's that on the social side, but then also reaching out to some other more targeted initiatives, with things like the Capital or the Baltimore Sun. So Ben, looked like you had a budget. Looked like I saw some confetti. Was that confetti?
It was a thumbs up with effects.
Okay. So,
My heart did a little stopgap right there when you're talking about the advertising marketing budget. So ours is extremely small.
yeah, I think, have you ever, I've heard different percentages that companies should spend X% of their gross revenue on marketing. And I've heard it from 1% to 5%. And again, that's just a range for different size businesses. And it certainly changes on the type of business and the revenue. And I don't you, Marty, for what a marketing spend could
Well, I mean,
be.
most people, I think I agree with what you're saying. Most people, well, a lot of small to mid-sized businesses don't really have they have a budget, but it's flat. It's based on a lot of times reactions to market conditions. It's based on a lot of different things. Um, but a rule of thumb is 3 to 5% of your gross sales or your net sales, sorry, your net sales is what a lot of people build their advertising budget around. And then there's a lot of times you're not even realizing what you're spending money in advertising and marketing on things that you may not, necessarily you just feel is a necessity to your business, signage and things of that nature. They're all would be part of that budget.
Since we have, oh, hold on, I'm on here twice. A good amount of business, B2B people in here. Are there any specific avenues within the Capital or even Beth with what's up on here for targeting businesses besides advertising with the chamber?
Well, that was going to be my first thing I said, is advertise with the chamber. I mean, email marketing is very effective. Search, I mean, that would be again my number one recommendation. programmatic. Obviously, if you're B2B trade magazines and things of that nature.
But I guess the big message here is frequency, is to stay with it. And again, it might not be just the paid advertising, but the other things that you're doing, outreach on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, pushing that out there. And Marty shared some other things to do to be present. And again, this is where the chamber can be a good tool in terms of coming to events and promoting what you're doing, sponsoring an event, getting some more visibility, potentially doing a webinar. We are looking for other folks to make presentations about topics. So those are some other, non-paid activities to, increase your visibility.
Yeah,
So,
I'll just add that, from a B2B standpoint or any business, it's really understanding your audience and how the behaviors of your audience, and then using platforms that are have the highest propensity or likelihood of them getting that information.
yeah, so it goes back to that I thought that graph, yeah, was pretty cool. The customer journey, understanding your customer, who's the customer, and what do they go through in terms of deciding to buy your product or service. So, all right. Well, anything else before we wrap up? Any thoughts or other questions?
So I have a quick one. I talk to a lot of my clients a lot, and I do advise, specifically targeting audiences and demographics. And I always chat with them about like who is your base audience, and then who do you actually want to reach or grow into. So could you talk a little bit about kind of where Baltimore and Capital are as far as their demographics, and how maybe that might have changed since you guys aren't just print, you're also digital, and you guys are expanding into some other areas as well?
Sure. So our audience is basically educated homeowners, families, household incomes of 100,000 plus. Um, the age is probably 50 plus on average, probably 45 plus on our digital platforms and 55 plus on the print. Um, Very entrenched in the community, more service, white collar oriented. Um, so hopefully that answers your question. If there's any more specific demographic, I'd be happy to. That's off the top of my head. Um, and so the thing that I've always recommended to our customers is basically that is our core audience. And it really mirrors the market. I mean, this area is an aging market, which is lends itself to a whole nother set of challenges. But you can then augment that by, again, as a highly engaged audience, they're paying to get our products. So they're loyal to the product itself as well as the advertising base that's in it. Um, if you want to reach a younger audience, I mean, we do have channels to do that through programmatic advertising, through social media buys and things of that nature. Email marketing is another way. I mean, you can buy that demographically. So that's how we would recommend that if you wanted to then get in front of a younger audience, or look at other granular type of zip code. If you just want to get into a specific zip code, or you want to get into specific demographic, things of that nature, we would just augment that by with one of our other extended reach products.
Okay, well, I'm going to cut the recording here.